As well as the standard fair use policy, this video is protected under the Treaty of Peace and Friendship 1787.
Moors are awake. We are taking our place on this planet.
Welcome to TMZ Moorish Empire, covering all things Moor since 711 AD. Like invading and horses and fighting the Christians, you know, Moor stuff. But wait, because for the first time in 500 years, breaking Moor news! Yes, the former reality star is now affiliated with the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World, or Mindiminmu. But is all this just a stunt to get more money from Deion Sanders in their divorce?
It seems like all this is just a stunt to get more money from Deion Sanders in the divorce.
Right, because the judge was all, sorry, you have a prenup, and Pilar was like, no way, I want half of everything. And the judge was like, too bad, you're out of luck unless you're a Moor. And she was all, oh, well, I am now, conveniently. In fact, she changed her name to Pilar Sanders Love El-Dey. So what does all this mean? No, we're asking you because we have no idea. Anybody know any Moors?
Have we reached out to Morgan Freeman from Robin Hood?
Oh yeah, Azim. He was
Moorish.
He was a Moor. He's the most popular Moor.
He's the most famous. That's the most famous
Othello
Moor.
is the most famous Moor.
Guys, there's been a lot of famous Moors. Mandy, Dudley, Demi, Julianne, Mary Tyler, Roger, Jay, Shamar, Mother, and that's it. We don't have any Moor jokes. Get it? Thanks, Pilar Sanders Love El-Dey. Your bizarre plan probably won't work.
So, who are the Moors? The Moors are the original man and womb man of the planet. The first family of nations to give birth to all other nations. All throughout Europe, the Moors were revered for exposing Europe to things like art, medicine, alchemy, high science, law, etc. Moor TV is a new network that is kicking off fourth quarter 2015. This show is dedicated to bringing you real news from coast to coast. I'm Chris Scott and you're watching Moor TV.
Okay, so you heard what TMZ just said about Pilar Sanders. So I'll give you guys a quick, brief background of Pilar Sanders before we get into the rest of the video. So Pilar Sanders was married to ex-NFL player Deion Sanders. Now, Pilar and Deion Sanders were getting divorced, and Deion Sanders was trying to get custody of his children. And, you know, in divorces get ugly, I guess. You know, Pilar thought she was entitled to money and whatever else, but I believe she signed a prenup. So conveniently, in the middle of the divorce proceedings, she finds her Moorish nationality. Now, we all know what that means. Now that she's found and proclaimed her Moorish nationality, she's going into the courtroom making all these bizarre demands and telling the judge that they don't have jurisdiction and pretty much that this is her land and everything. The Moors think that everything is their land, so in her mind, she thinks all of Deion's money was hers, and that she should retain full custody of the kids because she's a sovereign, yada, yada, yada. Now, I'll give you the short ending of that story. She lost miserably. Deion Sanders won, and Pilar Sanders didn't get a dime, even though she changed her appellation to Pilar Bigger Day. She didn't get a dime, and she lost custody of her children thanks to Moorish science. She would have had a much better chance had she not come to court talking all that Moorish foolishness. Now, the clip we're about to get into is Pilar Sanders is going to be interviewed by Sabir Bay on his radio show. And you're going to hear all of the nonsense that this lady Pilar is spouting. She is spouting none other than Moorish sovereign citizen nonsense. She came across this Moorish information and it ruined her life the same way it ruins the rest of these Moorish sovereign citizens' life. So now let's get into the clip of Sabir Bay interviewing Pilar Day.
This sister I had the pleasure of meeting when I went to Dallas, man. We got 7 calls. They got to hold on because I have to bring this sister on here. I got to play something first that when TMZ tried to clown us about the nationality, about who we are, and said that this sister claimed that she was a Moor. Listen, let me put this out there for everybody, and I hope TMZ is listening. If it wasn't for the Moors, you would not be taking bath. You would not have a paved pavement. You would not have your cars, your material, any of these things if it wasn't for the Moors. So don't clown. And those brothers that was in TMZ, you better get your study on. If you want to talk to a real Moor, you should contact the Sabir Bay Show. Don't make a joke talking about we're going to contact Morgan Freeman. If Morgan Freeman is not proclaiming who he is, that's the wrong person to go to, even though his name means Morgan Freeman. We understand the science. But if you want to talk to a Moor who knows, you contact the Sabir Bay Show, and we'll put you in contact with whoever you need to talk to about this situation, okay? Pilar, are you there? We have Pilar on the line?
Absolutely,
okay.
Sabir Bay, absolutely.
Pilar, welcome to the Sabir Bay Show, the first time ever on this network, and we got a lot of people online, a lot of people that is listening right now. Listen.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Sabir, and everyone listening. I appreciate your time.
Yes.
I appreciate your platform, absolutely. You do a fabulous job, so I'm very humbled to be on here with you.
Give thanks. No, I'm humbled to have you on here because we need more people like you to actually be on here. We got somebody on the line that's in the background. We can clip them or put them on mute. Whoever it is in that background, could you put your phone on mute? Because I don't want nobody to interpret things differently here or say something different that we did not say. But I want, in this video, Pilar?
Yes,
is that your noise in the background or somebody else?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not mine.
Okay, I got you. I know you're a professional, but we good. But what struck me, and I want to thank Brother Cujo up in Canada and Canaan land for actually linking me with this sister because it was disturbing. Then I went to Dallas and met the sister, and I'm like looking at all the stuff, and then the propaganda that TMZ put out there about this sister talking about. And this is what is happening. The Moors are not subject to U.S. laws. We are the true sovereigns. We're not being something else, something that we joined into.
Right.
So let's clarify that. And I hope a judge, an attorney, or anybody may be listening, and please come and challenge us on this topic because we're here. If, again, you want to talk to a real Moor, here we go. All right. But Pilar, welcome to the show. Let's get into this real quick. So, there's a lot of questions people want to ask you, and again, we want to take it at the top. I want to know how and when did you bump into this information? Because when you watch TMZ, they said, is it a stunt to get more money? Now, my take on it is if you were married for over 10 years, you entitled to every goddamn thing. I don't care if it was 5 years.
You bootlicker, hush your mouth. You know darn well you don't believe that. Because if you were married to someone for 5 or 10 years and you had millions of dollars, you wouldn't want to part ways with your millions of dollars either. So stop being a bootlicker.
I'm just keeping it 100. Yes, Pilar, but could you go into that real quick on how you came into this information?
Okay. Well, let me address the question that or the statement actually that you just said about me becoming a Moor to get half of whatever. It's all mine anyway.
Yeah.
Understand who you are because I do. You see, if the land is allodial, the land is my land. Along with being married for 15 years. I mean, come on. The land that the magistrate who unlawfully adjudicated the case, where he lives is my land. Okay, where he sits is my land. So if we're going to call it ace an ace, call it an ace, call it spade a spade, call it what it is. Now, as far as we were brought up, my mother and father brought us up with the morals and values that were taught in Moorish science and throughout history anyway. So it was only very natural and very right that when I did uncover the rest of my lineage, that it melted together and pieces of the puzzle were fit perfectly. It was indeed definitely during the divorce, I was looking for my family. And during the divorce process with the hearings in the court system, I found that the prosecuting attorney, Deion's attorney, became very, very upset, like irately upset. The magistrate was irately upset, and I couldn't figure out why every time I got up on the stand to say something, these people would threaten jail time to force me to say what they wanted me to say because I wasn't responding or I wasn't answering them. I was simply responding how I normally would respond and what I was taught to say, being brought up. So going through the questionings and my responses and mulling over those things through my head and going over the Constitution and law and treaties, I, overstudied this stuff. And then I couldn't figure out why in the world and how in the world could such criminality be taking place inside of this particular courtroom that I was forced into in the very beginning anyway. I was forced to get an attorney. Deion would not let me out of the marriage. His attorney wouldn't let me out. I couldn't leave. I couldn't get anything unless I had this attorney to get into this courthouse and go through these little crazy, unlawful steps. Wow. So en route to that, I'm, studying the Constitution. I'm going back and I'm learning the things that I should have known anyway. I'm looking at the treaties. I'm looking at international law. I'm looking at the rights of a child. I'm looking at the Declaration of Rights, the human rights, universal, unalienable rights that I know belong to me divinely. But I could not figure out why in the world is this magistrate up here denying all of my rights, depriving me of my children, depriving me, my children of their rights. I couldn't get it until I began to look deeper into Moorish science, and I began to unfold the color of the authority and the colored offices and deeper into world history, not just American history. And in that road, I was also simultaneously looking for my family. Okay, so in search of my family, I found us. And I found the missing pieces to my puzzle, to my lineage, to my heritage, and began to enact that inside of the courtroom, and they didn't like it at all.
Excuse me, Pilar, but let me get this straight. So you came across some Moorish information, and then you try to incorporate this Moorish sovereign citizen information into your court case, and you're saying that they got mad. That makes absolutely no sense. If you're fighting to regain custody of your children, you bringing up your quote-unquote newfound heritage, your Moorish heritage, would have been of no relevance to your case, which is clearly why you lost miserably. And I hope you now understand that. This Moorish science that you found, this Moorish ancestry that you quote-unquote found, is the very reason you lost.
Wow. So
I was threatened on a constant basis. I was extorted on a constant basis. I was harassed and still today harassed on a constant basis. And I'm just the most unlawful criminal activity from Ray Wheelis, from Rick Robertson, from Deion Sanders, from these policy enforcers here, from these magistrates in Collin County. It is absolutely horrifically ridiculous. And they refuse to honor and respect nationality. They refuse to honor and respect the position and the power that we Moors truly and honorably have. They are committing absolute constitutional blasphemy here in Collin County, the 366th District Court. They are committing treason, human trafficking, genocide, kidnapping. They busted down my door, kidnapping my children on allodial property from indigenous people, okay, in which I have the right, every single right, to just do anything I want to now that you're on my property. But they so arrogantly walk through and walk over people's rights, people's homes, anything that belongs to you, your freedom, your liberties, your security, as if they are God.
Well, that's what terrorists do.
Not.
That's what terrorists do. And for those that is joining, we listening to my sister Pilar El-Dey, actually Deion Sanders' ex-wife. Those that watch football, because I don't watch football, so I could care less anyway. But I know some of those dudes, because I think they hockey players half the time. I don't know, but I don't watch sports. But anyway, I want you to address this, and if anybody have a question or comment, you can give us a call at 323-473-3100. But I want you to address the issue with TMZ, because hopefully they're listening about it was a stunt to get more money. When I spoke with, I think it was Mel earlier, and I said, Mel, people, I think it was Mel, no, it was my brother Norris. We were speaking about how when people wake up, when it's time for them to wake up, and I said that just was her time to wake up. Because Noble Drew Ali said it will be the third and fourth generation coming with their eyes wide open. So he was talking about us from 1920 to now. So he also said he's going to make the European tell the truth. See what I'm saying? So it's not that she jumped over here because now she thinks she's going to get out of something. No, it's that time right now. Ignorance of TMZ. They need to get their group to do some more research and studying on this, or they need to come to the Sabir Bay show. But can you speak on that about what TMZ said about getting more? You wanted to, it's a stunt to get more money. I know it's old to you. Well, that's just me.
Right. The thing is, again, it's with TMZ, you have to understand they're doing what they and who they are. They're a gossip station. Okay, so everything is done in jest, regardless if it's true or not. It sells airtime for them. It sells shows. It puts people on the radio like we are talking about them right now. So it's doing what it was meant to do. Now, what they did do for me was make it publicized. So thank you. But however, you're not doing me a favor because I could do that myself.
Exactly.
I never gave an interview to TMZ. So any of the quotes that they ingest, proclaim, or declare on their show or in writing did not come from me. The papers that I have, all of my writs, and people do your homework on writs and the power of a writ and who it really belongs to, have been in the courts for quite some time. These magistrates out here masquerading as judges like Ridiculous and Carolyn Wright often either shred the writs or try to hide them and act as if they don't exist. But they're on a time schedule right now anyway. So sooner or later, just like Noble Drew Ali said, they're going to have to admit what's what. And
it's happening. It is happening.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So as far as TMZ's account goes, what they've done was they've made the Moorish divine empire even more public than we were in today's realm and to today's young stars out there. So I received a lot of some backlash, I would say, from those who didn't quite understand what was going on and the fact that all media isn't necessarily from your mouth. Everyone's quote did not come from me. But it did actually draw the attention of a lot of young stars who began to research what Moorish science is and who Moorish Americans are and who the Moors are and the history of the Moors. So on a positive note, this is what they added to. So they do know, TMZ does know, the owners of TMZ knows, the people in Hollywood, the producers and the directors and the writers, they do know, and they are very well educated as to who we are as the Moors. Again, it is the people who are being kept from knowledge, who are being kept out of those inner circles. It is the people who consider themselves colored or black or even African American who are being kept from true knowledge by either the I don't even know what you want to call them running Hollywood, the Zionists running Hollywood. I'm not sure.
The perpetrators,
or even the Boule, you know, because you have, and I'll have to deem them such. You have your dirty Moors or sleeping Moors or black or African American, whatever you want to call them, in Hollywood doing shows and producing networks and stuff like that. Who could care less about their brother or sister?
So by now, it should be quite obvious why Pilar El-Dey lost her case against her ex-husband, Deion Sanders. Now, kept a tally of all of the Moorish sovereign citizen buzzwords. She used words like allodial, treaties, international law, policy enforcers, nationality, indigenous, and writs. So this lady conveniently found her Moorish nationality as she was going through a divorce because she thought that becoming a Moorish sovereign citizen would help her, because as all these Moorish sovereigns think, the laws of the United States don't apply to them. So she thought she was going to go into court talking all of this nationality and I'm indigenous and allodial nonsense. And she thought she was going to win her case, win some money, and keep her children. And boy, was she wrong. This is another classic case of Moorish science ruining someone's life. This woman lost her children. Deion Sanders got full custody of her children because she went into the courtroom talking all this nationality nonsense. So now that we know she lost the case, let's check in with her and see if she's still proclaiming her Moorish nationality.
Welcome back, everybody. We've talked about so many second shots, finances, business, health, but we've never really discussed the comeback after divorce, especially a contentious, high-profile divorce. This week's second shot is with model, actress, fitness expert, and mama of three, Pilar Sanders.
You know, from baseball to football was taxing.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about the baseball too.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's right. Oh my gosh, that's right.
Yes.
You mentioned not having a mic and not having a voice, but in a way being like okay with it because you're taking care of yourself. But what do you think is the biggest misconception about you that came out during some of that public time?
Everything. Absolutely. Everything that made the media was absolutely false. Even as far as quote-unquote quotes from, you know, the courtroom and stuff like that.
What advice do you have for women who are walking through that? Well, you're on the other side.
Well, you can't give up. There were many organizations that I reached out to that simply turned their back just because of what was going on and who I was and
what do
who
you mean?
he was.
Be more specific.
Well, groups that are specific to help women who are going through very trying times, whether in a marriage or coming out of a marriage. So,
and they were unhelpful.
Oh, very, very much so. You know, I mean, I'm fighting a guy with a yellow jacket. You're in the Hall of Fame. It's Texas. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It wasn't the easiest thing to do, but you know, what got me through basically was a lot of working out, a lot of meditation.
Let's talk about this fitness business.
Yes.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
by the way.
Thank
This
you
is
so
exciting.
much.
You mentioned it's like you had worked before, then you had your mothering time, and this feels like sort of an emerging into a new phase of life. Talk about the business.
Yes. Well, you can expect to be completely uplifted. The music was made in 432 hertz, which is nature's sound of healing. So yes. So energetically and vibrationally, the music is going to put you in a great state of mind, and it's kind of going to heal your cells while you're being inspired and motivated to move and work out. So along with the music, obviously, I have the fitness videos, and there's 7 of them, and it includes HIIT, cardio, upper body, lower body, abs, full body, weights, bands, everything you can imagine, all full body, right? That's going to shake up your stagnant energy, like everywhere in your body. So it's good for them too. My daughter, Shalimai, is also featured in the videos.
So I don't know if you guys can tell, but Pilar has clearly dropped her Moorish nationality that she conveniently found while she was going through the divorce. Now, she lost the divorce to her ex-husband, and now she's back to living a regular life, not running around talking anything even remotely close to Moorish science. She has accepted her defeat and has now moved on and dropped the Moorish act, because it clearly was an act. She conveniently found this Moorish nationality as she was going through the divorce, because she thought that that would help her out and help her get the win, but it didn't. So I'm glad to see that she was smart enough to drop the Moorish act and move on with her life and live a productive life.
From